Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello and welcome and hi, hello. If you're brand new, just know that I'm at least 80% nerd, so sometimes I talk and compare current events and non-story elements into how I would write a story and a book and things like that. I talk about dating nightmares with evidence, screenshots, of course. A lot of them are from a specific demographic. And River of Racism, being a black woman. Yeah, let's just say, like, there's some people who ask, why do you guys talk about race all the time? Because we face it almost every day, getting called the N word and told that black people are not smart or as smart as either Caucasian or Asian, and that we are the only reason we get into college is because of certain laws, but now they turn down and everything. And then those who don't know their full history, well, if they're black universities and colleges, we need to have white ones. 45 loves the uneducated, the highly uneducated for a reason. For a, know your history before you say ignorant, stupid, idiotic, naive, things like that. So, but anyways, yeah, I talk about current events, river of racism. I have done Reddit and I will get back to that soon. I talk about the small business I am in the middle of trying to create, blah, 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 all that stuff. But okay, today it kind of goes off of my goals, my dreams, aspirations, and the hate that comes with it. And actually, this is another Gray Sheep Society like episode. This will be like the second official one. But let's see, how do I start this one? Because it has a lot of elements that I've talked about in the past, especially religion and medicine, natural medicine, the terrible doctors and the medical history that I have had, and living up to standards that I never fit anyways, and always being compared to a perfect sister. And the thing is, like, some people are like, she's nobody's perfect. No, she's like the way that everyone in my family brags about her, and they all like almost all conversations lead to her. Everyone's eyes gaze on her. She's the perfect one. So, and some people are like, oh, you're saying that for attention? No. After all of these years, after growing up and watching, listening, and seeing, I'm at a point where I'm okay with saying it, admitting it, and especially when I especially when parents are so upset when you disappoint them or don't get the grades or you don't live the way that they want you to, and they tell you the only reason you are born is because your sister came with the package, basically. And there's some things where that were told to me, but I won't say yet because I have to, for my father's sake, I won't say just yet. But yeah, when I say I'm a gray sheep, I am. When and I kind of came up with a definition. I'm still developing the definition of a gray sheep, but if your parents always seem disappointed in you, but then when you go out to the world and everyone else seems to be impressed, then they're just like, oh my gosh. Or especially when you date, some parents are like, well, or at least majority of the time, how did my son or daughter get you? How, like, you're the best thing that have ever happened to them. And I mean, yeah, so that, let's just say I'm still working on the definition. It's a work in progress. But if you are the person, or gray sheeps are the one who you don't want to go home for the holidays, sometimes you go just because of the pressure just because of how everyone's going to look at you if you don't go, or how your family members are going to turn it around and gaslight and blame you for not being there. Greece, like, so if you didn't go to your family's house for the holidays, I congratulate you. I applaud you and your bravery. Some, especially some of us, don't have that as an option. And some, we have dealt with the pain enough where we can go. It hurts. It hurts a lot, but we can go. And okay, so let me start the story time. Story time. Okay. Because with the movie Wicked, it's like there's going to be a lot of story times that I can relate to Wicked, but at the church, the mega church that I went to, like I still technically go, but it's like Sunday mornings when now I will only watch online. I do not want to ever step foot in the church, really, like unless I have to go to a funeral or something like that. But when Wicked came out, like 20 years ago, I was in college, and like the beginning, yeah, I think beginning of college. And it's like even when the book was written, it wasn't as popular, but I do remember like going to the library wanting to get the book, but then at my church, they were like anything involving witches is a sin, you're not supposed to, all this other stuff. So anyways, when the Broadway play, I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to watch it. But then I like our pastor now, or bishop now, he was just like, it's a sin. You can't read that. You can't, like, no Harry Potter, which I'm so glad, because that, like, in my opinion, that author is so toxic and such a, okay, I'm not supposed to judge, but, oh, the proof is in the pudding with how she is to people. Okay, anyway. But then Wicked, it's like, I was going to get the book, but then I remember my mom called me in the room and she was just like, well, you're going to be sinning. And would it be worth going to hell if you read that book? It's like, is it going to be that great? It's like, it can't be that great of a book. But then I always kind of thought it was funny because they got the Rent DVD. And I'm not saying it's like, it has no magic or whatever, but it's like the addiction, the special candy addiction that's in there. And like, just there were certain things, like even with HIV and just so many of the components, I'm just like, so I can watch Rent, but I can't read Wicked. Like, what? So anyway, while like having a grandmother that was full Native American, it's like even when I was younger, I used to sometimes look at the books of natural remedies or Native American like health stuff and things like that. I only took those books out like a couple times, once or twice, because it's like even, I don't know, some of the sermons in my church, I used to wonder, it's like, so are they trying to say this is a sin? And even I remember like one of the Bible study groups I was in. I thought I found one remedy because my mom used to always yell at me about how I walked, and she kept calling me a liar and everything like that. So I started looking up things that would loosen up my joints and hopefully make me walk better. And so like with college or whatever, sometimes I would at the store and I would try to grab a couple of things. And while at the Bible study, like one of them was talking about laying hands and healing, and one of the ladies always did it pointing at me, and I was just like, and I was like, you guys did that a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago, excuse me, and I was just like, yeah, I'm trying some new things. I'm in prayer. Don't worry. I'm in like, but I'm trying. And next thing I know, she was just like, oh, you're doing the sinner's work or whatever. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? And part of me just, it's like, I kind of thought about it back then, but part of me is just like, if a doctor prescribes you something that's going to relieve the pain or relieve whatever situation you're in, you'll take it. If you have cancer and they tell you to take something, you're going to take it. But I wasn't brave enough to say anything. It's like if you listen to my story about volunteering and things like that, you'll already know some about this uh, Bible study group or whatever. But it just kind of it got me scared because especially going to the mega church and church members talk all like amongst each other. And somehow I did get back to my mom. She called me in the room yelling at me, telling me I'm not supposed to do A, B, and C. But the funny thing is, my mom knew of an Asian remedy or a natural slash Asian remedy store that, like, I forgot which area, but my mom would keep going there for different odds and ends and stuff. But because she kept calling me a liar because whenever I would trip over my feet with the way that I walked and things like that, she would ask me, why do you walk like that? And I would tell her, I don't know, because I didn't know. And for those that have not been listening to my videos, like, you have a lot to catch up on because I do talk about how doctors treated me and my family treated me throughout my life. But for over 30 years, doctors said the pain was in my head. I was making it up. I just wanted attention, only to find out that I was born with a walking disability. Yeah, yay me. But anyway, so my mom started getting things and she would tell the owner of the shop, I need to get something that will force my daughter to stop lying to me. I repeat that. My mom had the nerve to say that she needed to buy something that would force me to stop lying to her. You do not know how frustrating it is. You do not know how, for so many years, and if you listen to some of those videos, all of the times I got spanked and physically traumatized and threatened, and yeah. And instead of my mom like taking me to new doctors, because it was doctor after doctor who kept telling my mother that the pain was in my head, nothing was wrong with me, I'm making it up. Then when I get to college, I'm an adult, but I go to my doctor would call my mother and tell her everything I said, to the point where I stopped talking to my doctor. She would ask me a question, I would either just nod or shake my head, and I wouldn't say anything. And then she would call my mother and tell her. And then my mom would call me in the room and yell at me and tell me that I better talk to my doctor. So then what did I do next? I stopped going. The walking was getting worse and the pain was getting more apparent, especially in the mornings. But I didn't want to have to go through that anymore. I tried to change doctors, but then when the receptionist told my doctor, the receptionist called my mother, and my mother said, you better never change doctors. What do you think you're doing? If you ever, I will. I was like, yeah, let's just say it was all, yeah, I won't say everything that she said, but it was a pretty good threat. And when you live with her, yeah, you better do as she says. So, next thing, like as I said, she was getting different vitamins that, like, I don't know what kind of Asian remedies these were, but the like I would get home from working either at the zoo or promotional modeling, and she would call me into the room and tell me, take these, and you better take them every day. And then sometimes she would surprise me, bring those bottles down, and she would count them. She marked a day that she gave them to me on the calendar. So then she would try to see and make sure I was taking them every day. The first time I didn't know, I didn't really take it seriously because, she told me she was telling me to take them to stop lying, which really hurt. She will never understand how much that hurt because for over 30 years you called me a liar. For over 30 years, she told family members I was nothing but a liar. She told some family members that all I did for work was work for alcohol brands when, yeah, I worked for some because I was trying to pay for grad school. And I was especially I was determined to get into grad school and pay for grad school because she told me that I was never going to make anything of myself. And well, I'm going to slide another thing. I'm going to have the whole story of this phase too. But there was a long phase, especially when I was going in college and things like that, and I would start getting mail. Yeah, our mom taught us how to open other people's mail because she would open my mail. I didn't even know it for years. For years, I didn't even know it. And she threw some of my mail away, or she hid some of my mail. When I got the Disney internship, I was picked. I was one of the first ones picked, and there was a lot of at first my mom said no, and I'm gonna tell that full story because that one was the moment where I realized she was never gonna love me or accept me as I am, and or she was in such fear. I was like, I'm gonna have to talk to a therapist because on that one, because I'm still so confused. I am still so confused with that situation. But anyway, so I got to a point where, I'm so thankful that we had online, and it wasn't the online we have now, but it was still pretty good. It was pretty good, better or whatever. So I started looking up some of the stuff in these items, and part of me was just like, why am I taking these? It's like at first I was out of fear, but then it's like each day before while I was getting ready, if I had a promotion, because it wasn't every day that I worked a promotion, but I would get a Ziploc bag each one up, because some of them I'm like, it's like you're literally trying to call me a liar. And I don't know if these are going to make me loopy. I don't know if these are going to I don't know the side effects, and I don't know what they are going to do to me. And that is it's, I want to say it scared me because it did a little bit. And so then, oh, she got vitamins for all different types of reasons. And I mention this because, I've always loved natural medicine and things like that. And I remember, I forgot the conversation, but I was at a nonprofit volunteering, and I took, one of the ladies, she mentioned my walking, which sometimes is annoying, but I'm like, whatever, because I wasn't diagnosed or anything like that. So sometimes people try to give me advice. And so I was taking a flower vitamin or whatever, because it's like the flowers were supposed to help with cartilage. One doctor said maybe well, long story, but yeah, I remember I went to a health clinic and things like that, and their specialization was not in that, but I was so desperate. Yeah, you're gonna hear. I have a lot of stories about my health nightmare, but I remember I mentioned the flower vitamin or whatever, and oh, well, that's witchery. Why are you doing that? You need to stop. I need to pray that off of you. And I was just like, what? What are you talking about? It's a vitamin. And then it's like I start thinking about what about like like there's so many different items in these prescriptions that doctors give us and the side effects to the point where you need another pill or vitamin for that one, and then you need another one for the side effects of the second one, and it's a domino effect. But if I take something that's natural, it's like it's less likely. And so because even now I like, especially with some of the ailments and things, or it was with my disability, whatever, I've done research because part of me is just like, okay, if the Christian community, and that's one reason why I say I'm Christian, but I'm spiritual, because like, if you're gonna say that I'm sinning because I take natural remedies or mushroom tinctures and things like that, then you know what? Do what you do, boo. Do what you do, boo. Because I'm caring about my health. I'm caring about my livelihood, my comfort, and the pain that I have to go through on a daily basis. And sometimes I wonder, like, you'd rather me be stuck at home taking prescribed medicines that are so expensive. But, and it's crazy how you can get the health insurance or the pharmaceuticals to the point where, okay, they're not as much upfront, but in the government assists, or the insurance assists with it. Okay. Wow. Okay. Anyway, and it's like, I don't know, it's just, if you're trying to do it the natural way, yeah, it costs a lot of money. And trust me, it costs money. And some people might be like, why are you doing this? And it's like, I want to get back to, at least, if I can get back to 60, 70, 80% of where I was, if I can at least live a more independent life, it, and especially the same people who are telling me I need to pray about it are the same people who say that I'm still like this because I don't love God enough, or I've done something wrong or sin, or they tell me I better not have children because that would make me selfish. Because if my child ends up like me, then it's like I asked for this, or just so many, like if I listed all of the things. So I obliged with like the kids. Like, I've wanted kids. I always wanted kids, especially before I was diagnosed. Like when my walking was getting worse, I was like, okay, well maybe it's not safe. I don't know. And but back to the whole remedy things. I remember it's like, yeah, because you can tell this would be like a series, but I'm trying to shorten it up, and I'll extend parts of it later. But like when I like, some people say there's no such thing as Christian trauma, church trauma. Yes, there is. You have no idea. You have no idea. But I know years later, around grad school, like my one of my other sisters came to the house. She came in my room to tell me hi, or to see how I was, and she saw like the bottles on my dresser, and she asked me what these were, and I told her, and I was like, my mother didn't like that, but I didn't care. Like I was tired of like some of the things that she did, we were not allowed to tell. And it was because we weren't supposed to tarnish her image. But, and especially like when I told my older sister, she was livid. Livid. And she told me to throw them away. And I was like, I can't throw them away. And she asked me why, because I was like, because she does random checks. And that's when she got even more mad. I remember at one point, she, I think she tried to look for a vitamin, like a vitamin C or like another vitamin that looked similar to it, and then replace them or whatever, and get like a jumbo jar so then I could just fill it up whenever it was like, well, no, well, but yeah, I had to tell her, I was like, when it's empty, I can't fill it back up. So I remember she was laughing, or it was like, at least, but I was like, when she buys me another bottle, or if she buys me another bottle, then I'll empty it out and just like whatever. But, and yeah, some people are like, well, isn't that lying? You know what? At the end of the day, that is a lie. But when I, when your mother is literally calling you a liar about how you walk, and saying that you're no good or no use, or how I'm selfish for not wanting to be normal. Like when I tell you guys she said some things, oh, she said so many things, and sometimes people are like, how do you remember? Like when you're a child and you're a teenager, trust me, you remember. Trust me, you remember. And that's why another reason I want to do these talks, because there might be some parents out there who might make a mistake and watch my video, and they may realize I'm doing this to my child. I think maybe not giving them like remedies to fix something that's out of your control, like, but, and also accusing them of being a liar when they're not being a liar, or even like, if you're going to accuse your child of being a liar, try communication, try talking, try trusting your child. Because at the end of the day, I was diagnosed with a rare disability. In my DNA, I was born with it. So over 30 years of being spanked and verbally traumatized and everything like that, I can't list of all the ways she punished me. And then she gave me these things to force me to be normal and correct and to be the way she wanted me. I'm gonna have other videos because she gave, like, there was at least 5 or 6 different reasons she would come from that shop and calm me down and tell me to take these things, and she would do the random checks. So, and I remember I tried telling one of the academic advisors or admissions advisors at Oakland University, and they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. And one of them was just like, well, maybe you need to stop lying then. She said that to me. Maybe you need to stop lying then. Uh, I I would say her name on here because I really don't care if she ever tried to take me to court or whatever, because the hatred in that woman, like, she was just a bully. I'll talk about her in another episode. But just know, if you connected to this story, I'm sorry. Yeah, I wanted to say sorry, whatever. But anyway, just know that I understand and I'm with you. I am with you. And if you're a gray sheep, it's like I'm still trying to figure out how to make the whole society, like with Patreon, I'm trying to figure out like what all the amenities and if we can have our meetups. It's like, and I want to create even gray like types of arsenal, and like even have badges and things like that. So it's in a work in progress. But anyway, this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too. And to all my gray sheeps, virtual hugs, extra hugs. You're special, you're amazing. Don't forget it.